Okidoki. Inside Job is a fun sci-fi show that uses the premise of the shadow government that controls the world from the shadows, and paints it in a wacky workplace comedy dealing with the conspiracies and world-ending catastrophes. Which gets you thinking, because looking at the second season, the core theme has been about the complete opposite of the premise. The loss of control. If you remember from last season, also spoilers for both seasons, go watch them, it's pretty funny. Reagan Ridley has lost control to her father, Rand Ridley, beating her to the punch by becoming the next CEO of Cognito Inc., one of the 6 secret societies that rule the world. Juggalos are also one of them for some reason. We've come to understand that he's basically Rick Sanchez but more immoral. Honestly, the two of them go back and forth of who is the lesser of two evils, because we find out that he had been helicopter parenting Reagan by memory erasing every happy distraction from the goal of pursuing science. Poor Oren, wherever he is. So most people are coming into season 2 expecting Rand to start ramping it up now that he's literally in control of everything. However, that's not exactly what happens. While he does mess up things like trying to create a political puppet to control America, it's honestly not that different from every other character in this show. They are in the profession of manipulating the masses after all. Reagan literally caused a Vatican apocalypse this season because she was impatient and horny. Most of Rand's evil plots have actually had a very singular focus, trying to get back with his ex-wife Tamiko. When she starts dating Keanu Reeves, he tries to become an action movie star to prove he's better than John Wick. The reason for the political puppet earlier was to pass the Neglectfully Excommunicated Exes Date You Act, NEEDY for short, a legislation to force divorced couples to legally go on a date once a month. We even find out that the main reason Rand wanted to regain control of Cognito Inc. was to basically impress Tamiko and get them back together. It's done so much that it feels really comical, a bit like we're treating the big bad from last season as a punching bag this season. I'll admit, I wasn't initially sure what to make of the direction they were taking Rand Ridley. The trailer had teased us that
everything's gonna be different around here.
But the season was starting to feel like Rand constantly going in circles, being rejected over and over, even though he finally had the control he was pining for last season. That is, until you skip forward a bit in the clip.
Then Cognito's gonna reclaim its ex-wife, and its daughter, and its original beautiful hairline.
Huh. Regain their ex-wife and daughter, you say? What sounded to be initially a one-off joke has become the season 2 goal of Rand Ridley. But why? Also, a quick side note.
This is going to be the most globally damaging midlife crisis since Elon Musk.
Anyway, we get the answers to the previous question during Project Reboot. In this episode, we find out that Rand has previously built this machine that causes minor changes in the past, playing off the conspiracy of Mandela effects being hint of a previous timeline, like everyone remembering the Berenstain Bears as Berenstein. We're racing off to stop Rand from creating another world-ending apocalypse, and us, along with Reagan, are assuming the reason Rand is messing with time is because the robes are retaking control of Cognito Inc. after Rand's poor attempt at Biz Leisure. Watch the fucking show if you don't get that reference. But when we finally bust down the door to the boss's lair, we just find Rand drinking, pissing, and crying from the reboot machine. See, the control Rand wanted wasn't Cognito Inc. or the world, but the control of a happy family. Rand had been doing what he's been trying to do for the whole season, trying to regain his ex-wife and daughter. He's trying to find a timeline where Rand and Tamiko never divorced and where they all still live happily with Reagan in a loving environment, which is unfortunately not in his character. Rand is a narcissistic manipulator and socially lazy, unwilling to put in the work to build a connections to people closest to him, and believing control over literal space and time is what will solve his problems. But people don't work that way. Whatever you have control of in your personal life, whether you're the average sheep or the woke shadow leader, is realistically very little. And that's why by the end of the episode, Rand has to lose control, because control doesn't provide him with the happiness that he so desires. He lacked the understanding that he needed to work to build relationships, not conquer them like the various media platforms under his foot. It's quite a nice end for Rand's arc. They don't completely redeem him after all the messed up things he's done to Reagan, but I do humanize him just a bit before giving him the punishment he deserves. Reagan actually goes through a somewhat similar arc, as most of the time in the new season is spent in the broom closet making out with the new character, Ron Statler. Throughout the season, Reagan has been trying to balance her work life and love life, controlling the world while Ron is constantly griping about having to erase memories for the Illuminati. The final episode actually provides an ultimatum for Reagan in the form of choosing the next steps for her future. Ron wants to run away from the dangers of the Shadow Society, erasing their memories and living together in a normal life. But with Reagan now the CEO of Cognito, the Robes want to partner with her to help keep humanity under control. And instead of trying to decide, she does the same thing her father does, simulating timeline after timeline to find one where she can choose both paths. Her need for control over everything drives her to desperately find a needle in a haystack. But unfortunately, the needle does not exist. The two choices are too far apart, any possibility leading to unhappiness, which leads to Reagan deciding to give up trying to control every aspect of her life and make a decision. When you think about it, it's a very bittersweet ending to the season, Reagan having to give up one part of her happiness to pursue another. But I think the actual message is very different. As much as you would like to have control over everything, to calculate and manipulate every fine detail like Reagan or Rand, it's just not possible for those closest to you. You can't control the people around you to stick around. You need to take the time to be there for them so that they'll be there for you. You need to see them as equals and simply lose control. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me the Shadow Prison, let me know in the comments below, and tell me your thoughts while you're down there. Like and subscribe for more content, let me know if there's something you'd like me to cover, or I'd like to talk about anything that interests me. That's all I wanted to say. I hope you all have a good rest of your day.